heart. With fasting we'll mend the soul that bleeds. Love will answer all your needs. The Lord is gracious, slow to ire. His mercy burns like cleansing fire. Return, oh hearts, and you will see the blessings poured abundantly. Let the fields rejoice and sing, for the Lord will heal in everything. Grain and wine will fill the store. He'll make us whole forevermore. The Lord is gracious, slow to ire. His mercy burns like cleansing fire. Return, oh hearts, and you will see the blessings poured abundantly. Let the fields rejoice and sing, for the Lord will heal in everything. Grain and wine will fill the store. He'll make us whole forevermore. Fear not, oh people, lift your eyes. The Lord will hear your desperate cries. The enemy fades at His command. Salvation's been written in the sand. The Lord is gracious, slow to ire. His mercy burns like cleansing fire. Return, oh hearts, and you will see the blessings poured abundantly. Have mercy on me, O God above. Your unfailing kindness shines with love. Blot out my sins, wash away my stain. Cleanse me so I can feel whole again. I know my wrongdoing, it's there in my face. Against you alone have I fallen from grace. You are right when you judge, it's true. Yet your mercy flows and makes me new. Create in me a pure heart, O Lord. Renew my spirit, let it be restored. Don't cast me away, don't take your light. Hold me close into your might. Teach me wisdom deep in my soul. Crush the weight that sin has stole. My bones rejoice when you make them dance. Give me this everlasting chance. Open my lips so I'll sing your praise. Your mercy carries me through my days. Sacrifice isn't what you seek, but a broken heart and a spirit meek. Restore the joy of salvation's call. Hold me up when I start to fall. Then I will show others your way so bright, and sin arms we make our plea. Be reconciled to God who sets us free. He bore our sins to make us whole. His grace renews our weary soul. We are ambassadors of grace and love, messengers sent from a throne above. In weakness and strength we boldly speak. His power is strong, though we are weak. Troubled on every side, yet not crushed. For his mercy revives when life turns to dust. Imposters, yet true, we press ahead. Alive in him, though the world calls us dead. We are ambassadors of grace and light, shining his truth in the darkest night. In honor and shame we stand our ground. The hope of his kingdom still unbound. Through beatings and tears we hold on tight. By purity and love we walk in his light. Weapons of righteousness in both hands, we build a kingdom that forever stands. We are ambassadors of grace anew, speaking his promise forever true. Of grace anew, speaking his promise
Going on the air right now.
forever true.
Can I say something to you?
Yes.
When you wake up,
Hi, this is Jim from Safety Wars. Before we start the program, I want to make sure everyone understands that we often talk about OSHA and EPA citations, along with some other regulatory actions from other agencies, legal cases, and criminal activity. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Proposed fines are exactly that, and they are often litigated, reduced, or vacated. We use available public records, news accounts, and press releases. We cannot warranty or guarantee the details of any of the stories we share, since we are not directly involved with these stories, at least not most of the time. Enjoy the show.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
And from the border of liberty and prosperity in the highway to north, this is Safety Wars for Wednesday, March 5th, 2025. We are sounding more and more like a real radio show here every day. Yes, what did we have? We had our pre-show going today. Today was, if you're a Christian, Ash Wednesday. We had some religious music, and, that's how we roll here. How's everybody doing? Right, we'll just do that on the religious holidays. We'll try to have some other appropriate Safety Wars style music here. Love in the safety zone. For example. So, what's funny is we have these OBS platforms. One of them allows me to play music, the other one doesn't. So, we can figure out which one I'm going to use from now on. And we're starting to learn more and more and more as we go along. I was hanging out this afternoon over at St. Paul Lutheran Church over in Monroe. They have an entire broadcast center set up there. A lot of stuff going on and everything else. Hold on. Someone's playing games with a thermostat here. I didn't touch it. But, yeah, we were hanging out there, and we saw their whole setup there. They have, I don't know what you would call it, live streaming every service. And I tell you what, it's a pretty impressive setup they have there. Pretty impressive setup. Multiple cameras, sound systems, microphones, wireless, they got a lot of stuff going on there. All run by a volunteer. So if you ever have a chance to check them out online, go ahead and do it. I'll put in a plug for them here. Now, a lot of stuff going on here in the world. I mean, what we've been doing here is then you're going to say, well, politics. And last night we had that meeting on, we had that Senate confirmation hearing. Where else are you going to hear it? Where else are you going to hear it? But here. Some people like it. Some people don't like it. But what the point is this. Information. Part of what we do here is supply information to you. Make up your own judgment. If you hear something here you don't agree with, or you may say, hey, maybe I got to double check, please double check it. I'd take corrections. If you want to correct me, that's fine. That's okay. We're good. We are good. We are so good. And I appreciate the leeway you give me as I get better at doing this thing. Remember, it's a one-man show here. But what's a lot going on here? So President Trump is continuing to get his cabinet set up. Right? We're, 43 days, I think, into this here thing. He had his speech last night. And I tell you what, this is all I'll say on that. You get very few points in the public eye, usually, if you're rude. American public will put up with anything. I mean the congenial public that pays attention. Now, so for example, you go into a courtroom, you start acting like a jerk. I know the TikTok is filled with things. You're not going to get too many people's sympathy because you go to court, there's an expectation that you act a certain way. You go into a church, there's this expectation that you act a certain way. You go into a mosque, there's an expectation. A synagogue, an expectation. You're going into a legislative body. That's why you have Robert's Rules of Order there, where you go in and you try to act appropriately. I don't think the Democrats won any points last night. That's all I'll say on that. It may feel good. Believe me, it feels good to tell someone to go whatever. It feels good to yell at and blurt out stuff. It feels good to do whatever. And that doesn't mean that you should do it. Because that feeling of feeling good, that is very fleeting. Same thing. How does this relate to safety or to our safety industry? In our safety industry, it's a similar thing. Right? Well, what do you mean, Jim? If you're in a meeting What do? Do you go out there and you start yelling and screaming at people during the meeting? Yeah, that may feel good. That may be effective for a minute, but everyone that gets out of that meeting, they say, "Wow, what a bleeping bleep bleep bleep, no, Kartoffelkopf, no, idiot, yelling and screaming." What is that person trying to prove? At least, it's like that. You often create an enemy. We have enough enemies in life. We have enough adversaries, right? Some people find pleasure in having adversaries. You're out there and you're screaming and yelling. You're in a meeting. You're in whatever, and you get into an argument. And guess what? You made at least one enemy. And believe me, with the resources people have at their fingertips nowadays, right? With the resources we have at our fingertips, the internet, AI, the phone, video camera, video recording, anything, it's very easy to set people up and to creatively edit things, right? To go and do whatever you want. So this is why you go around screaming and yelling and acting like a jerk, because it does not really solve anything. Because I tell you what, there will be a payday. And if you're that person scheming for the payday, I'm going to tell you that payday is fleeting also. It may feel good. You tell someone off. It may feel good for 10 or 15 minutes. Or, but long term, if you have a conscience, you're like, man, and I probably shouldn't have done that. Right? Or because this is what happens. It's very difficult to change people. And if you're going to, and the other thing is this, the only way that, let's say you're dealing with a psychopathic personality, like we described we've done several programs on that. It's probably time to revisit some of these things from season 1 and 2. You're dealing with a psychopath. Very little is going to change that person's mind, change that person's behavior, unless there's only a couple of things. Number one is if it's immediate, if it hurts them. When I say hurt, I don't necessarily mean physically. And the other way is to get violent. I don't advocate violence. We don't advocate violence at all. But guess what? That's the level of involvement that it takes for you to straighten out someone like that. The thing, and it's a setup, because now they're going to play the victim. I've had people, especially in my younger days, I was much bigger, stronger, faster, like $6 million man territory. People try to goad you into a fight. Oh yeah, it happens. So this is, and then they hope that you go and you do something. It's like, really, Jim? That sounds paranoid. That sounds ridiculous. That sounds, that sounds that. And what happens is they try to goad you into a fight, and you end up being the one that gets hurt. Either you lose the fight, or you beat them up, and now all of a sudden you're the ogre. You're the one doing this and doing that. I'm adjusting this on this camera. Now you're the one who's the bad guy. You're the one who gets arrested. You're the one who, has to pay the consequence while they go on their merry old way. That's why you don't start fights. You don't be violent with that, because they'll flip around that victim mentality onto you. So what do I recommend you do? Be professional. Be as professional as possible here with people. Well, what do you mean? Document things, go through your human resources. If necessary, and if it's legal, record them saying and doing things. Now you have leverage. Now, let's say that you're a safety professional, and you said, look, I pointed out a safety issue, and I got treated this way. They cut my hours. They did this, they did that. Now what do you have? You have a whistleblower complaint. If you're in a union shop, now, no, not a lot of safety people are, but there are safety people in unions. Now, the unions, right, you could have a grievance, possibly. I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to give legal advice. I'm going to tell you, don't be violent. Don't yell. Don't, because it's going to turn around. They'll turn it around on you. You'll get more respect now. You'll get more respect. You'll be easier to manage. And I'm not going to say it never works, because sometimes it does work here. But what happens is eventually the decision makers are going to say, this person's a loose cannon, and how do I know that he or she isn't going to do that to me if I piss them off? And they're going to be able to take it out of context and everything else with that. So don't do that. Don't be smart. Don't be stupid. And as we had last week, we had that song. You're on the podcast, you heard it. If you're on the other one, you didn't. If you're going to be stupid, you better be strong, right, with things. So we're going to go to our first commercial break, and we're going to come back at you.
From the front lines of the safety war, it's Safety Wars, with your host, Jim Posel on Safety FM. Get ready to face the harsh reality.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posel with Safety Wars.
That's my daddy!
In the professional safety community, communication and planning are just a few keys to your program's success. The question many practitioners have is, where do I start? Dr. Jay Allen, the creator of the Safety FM platform and host of the Rated R Safety Show, has built a global foundation to help you along the way. Go to safetyfm.com and listen to some of the industry's best and most involved professionals, including Blaine Hoffman with the Safety Pro, Sam Goodman with the Hop Nerd, Sheldon Primus with the Safety Consultant, Jim Posel with Safety Wars, Emily Elrod with Unapologetically Bold, and many others. As individuals, we can do great things with the safety team. We become amazing. Dial into safetyfm.com today and surround yourself with a powerful force of knowledge and support.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that is designed to actually
knowledge and
assess
support,
your hazards and liabilities, and is not standardized baloney from generations ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call me,
your safety
Jim
training
Posel,
old,
at
stale, and hackneyed?
845-269-5772. Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version if you are receiving this message, you are the solution that is designed to
of knowledge and support.
Hazards and liabilities, and is not standardized baloney from generations ago. Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call me. Is your safety trainer old, stale, and hackneyed? Is your safety trainer still preaching a remember, if you are receiving this message, you are the solution that is designed
of knowledge and support.
Hazards and liabilities, and is not standardized baloney from generations ago. Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call me. Is your safety trainer old? Is your safety trainer still preaching? Remember, if you are receiving this message, you are the solution. So here we have
of knowledge and support.
And it's not standardized baloney out generations ago. Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call me. Is your safety trainer old? Violation notice here. So we'll share with you the thing, right? The Baltimore office of the Inspector General has released its report following an investigation into the Baltimore Department of Public Works. In the 48-page report, the OIG said its investigation revealed a negative work culture and concerns for worker safety and morale that have persisted for the last decade. So let's go into that report now. Here we go. Said its investigation revealed a negative
this
work
is
culture
from the Office of
and concerns for
Inspector
worker
General,
safety and morale
City of Baltimore,
persisted for the
Isabel
last
Mercedes
decade.
coming as the Inspector General.
So
This is
let's go
issued
into that
today.
report now. All right.
And
what's the mission of the OIG is to promote. Said its investigation
accountability
revealed a
for
negative
safety this is
impact
from the
on
Office
city
of
government concerns for
Inspector
worker
General,
safety and morale.
City of
that have
Baltimore,
persisted for the
Isabel
last
Mercedes
decade.
coming as the Inspector General.
So
This is
let's go
issued
into that
today.
report now. All right. And what's the mission of the OIG is to promote. Said its investigation revealed a negative
this is from the Office of
government concerns for worker safety and morale.
City of
that have
Baltimore,
persisted for the
Isabel
last
Mercedes
decade.
coming as the Inspector General.
So
And this
let's go
gives
into
you
that
an
report now.
idea of the
Thing,
roots.
right? All right.
I guess this is the
And what's the mission of the OIG is to promote. Said
OIG
its investigation revealed a
So
negative
this is from the Office of
government concerns for worker safety and morale. that have persisted for the last decade.
So they were basically idea of the roots.
The OIG completed over 130 days during the investigation. What's the mission of the OIG is to promote. Said its investigation revealed a
So this is from the Office of
government concerns for worker safety and morale. that have persisted for the last decade. The OIG is fired. So
they were basically
idea of the roots. The OIG completed over 130 days during the investigation. What's the mission of the OIG is to promote. Said its investigation revealed a
So this is from the Office of
government concerns for worker safety and morale. that have persisted for the last decade. The OIG is fired. So
they were basically
idea of the roots. Trailer OIG completed over 130 days during the investigation. What's the mission of the OIG is to promote. Said its investigation revealed a
So this is from the Office of
concerns for worker safety and morale. that have persisted for the last decade. The OIG is fired. So
they were basically
idea of the trailer OIG completed over 130 days during the investigation. What's the mission of the OIG is to promote. Said its investigation revealed a
So this is from the Office of
concerns for worker safety and morale. that have persisted for the last decade. The OIG is fired. So
they were basically
the trailer OIG completed over run out of toilet paper. You will get 1,000,001. You wouldn't believe. I got pictures where people have not had the bathrooms sanitary, and I get pictures on some of the facilities I visited. It's like, really, Jim? Really? Yes, really. It's I don't know what to tell you here. So, all right, the bathrooms sanitary, and I get pictures on some of the facilities I visited. Over in Cherry Hill, the OIG observed inoperable ice machines. Really? Right?
The HVAC system in the trailer or office areas was not working, missing floor tiles.
I don't know
in the
what to
trailer,
tell you.
Missing faucet handle in the men's locker room.
All right,
All
the
different types of
bathrooms
pictures
sanitary,
here.
and I get pictures
okay,
on
things
some
were
of the
repaired.
facilities I visited.
Over in Cherry Hill, the OIG observed inoperable ice machines.
Really?
This for that battle the HVAC system in the trailer or office areas was not working, missing floor tiles.
I don't know what to tell you.
Of Valley Lane and Cherry Hill,
All right,
which have existed a long time. All
the
different
bathrooms
sanitary,
and I get
renovation
pictures
and years ago
repaired.
never occurred. Over in Cherry Hill, the OIG observed inoperable ice machines.
I guess somebody couldn't figure out how to
that battle the HVAC system in the trailer or office areas was not working, missing floor tiles. Of Valley Lane and Cherry Hill, fire bandits and rarely visited the
bathrooms sanitary, and I get pictures
years ago was described a limited temporary over in Cherry Hill. The OIG observed inoperable ice machines.
I guess somebody couldn't figure out how to
battle the HVAC system in the trailer or office areas was not working, missing floor tiles. Of Valley Lane and Cherry Hill, fireman's and railways, bathrooms, sanitary, and I get pictures from there and a limited temporary shells, inoperable ice machine. Really couldn't figure out how to validate these initiatives to office, office smell like a sewer and a limited temporary shells, inoperable ice machine. Really couldn't figure out how to validate these You're comes down to this. This is the problem with sovereign immunity, is what it comes down to. Number one, people are not held accountable for anything. This is, I'm not picking on Baltimore. I'm going to say I get feedback. I get people talking to me. I get people doing all different types of stuff out there. And essentially, this is not a unique situation for public employees. This is when you have nepotism. This is where you have favoritism and all the other isms coming together. One of the problems often with the union shop is this. Who gets promoted to be foreman? Because foreman technically is a manager as far as OSHA is concerned. But they're not covered by OSHA. That's the other thing. That's why it's important for us. They're talking about OSHA reform is to remove sovereign immunity from the municipalities and state and local governments and everything. So we don't, when it comes to OSHA regulations, so there's a little bit more accountability and federal oversight because they're basically doing whatever the hell they want, is what it sounds like to me. We have story after story after story here on our OSHA end on this. So we're going to go and take a break, and I'm going to get stuff set up for the next session here.
From the front lines of the safety war, it's Safety Wars, with your host, Jim Posel on Safety FM. Get ready to face the harsh reality.
Safety Wars is streaming now.
SafetyFM.com.
In an unpredictable world, one voice rises above the chaos. Meet Jim Posel, a seasoned safety expert who's navigated through some of the
Jim
most
Posel on
dangerous
Safety
scenarios,
FM.
from
Get ready to
anthrax,
face the harsh
explosive
reality.
cleanups, disasters,
Safety Wars is streaming now.
SafetyFM.com.
and experience unpredictable safety wars. One voice rises above the chaos. To the hidden dangers in your own home. Jim covers it all with his engaging stories, navigated through some of the
Jim
most
Posel on
difficult
Safety FM.
scenarios.
Get ready to face the harsh reality.
Safety Wars is streaming now.
SafetyFM.com.
And experience unpredictable safety. One voice rises above the chaos. To the hidden dangers in your own home. Jim covers it all with his engaging stories, navigated through
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posel with Safety Wars.
That's my daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff going on, right? So this is from a New York State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posel with Safety Wars.
That's my daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff going on, violation, right? Again, this is from a New York State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posel with Safety Wars.
That's my daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff going on, violation, right? Again, this is from a New York State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posel with Safety Wars.
That's my daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff going on, violation, right? What do we have? Again, this is from a New York State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posel with Safety Wars.
That's my daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff going on, violation, Again, from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Polson with Safety Wars.
My daddy!
Okay, so here we have some other government stuff as well. We have from City State, Rockland County Courthouse.
OSHA recordables, catastrophic catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posey.
people are a little bit upset here, with things. I feel, like I said, I get a lot of stuff from government employees. Well, what about us? They treat us like crap. State government not doing what they're supposed to and doing right by their people, and the union often okay with it or uneducated. You think that any of this is typical? Anything like this is atypical? What we're seeing it's pretty common. I hear this all the time about local governments and what they don't do, and don't do, and everything else, and everyone's okay with it. I think if Congressman Biggs' law does get through, this is probably needs to be one of the things. State and local government must comply with rules. Don't exempt them from the rules. Fine them. Criminal liability. All the stuff that happens with us in private industry should be applied to them as right also. I understand. Well, Jim, there are laws on the federal level that every head of every agency has got to be responsible for safety for their. I get it. Well, what happens when those things are not followed? Remember 9/11 here, and we get the commercials every day here in New York and New Jersey area. If you were exposed to 9/11 dust, if you were working in downtown south of on Wall Street, blah, 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 from September 11th, 2001 to June of 2022, blah, 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 May 30th, right? I got there in June, right? So I missed out on this, right? Well, you should do this, and this. Then you hear a certain EPA administrator say the air is safe to breathe, no problem. There's no OSHA, director of OSHA at that time. That was confirmed. The ones that were eventually confirmed, no safety background. What the hell's going on? Is what I have to say. This with what happened in Baltimore, this would not fly in private industry, even by the most lax company with safety issues that I could think of. That would not fly. So that's what I got for you tonight. Thanks for bearing with me, and we will get back to you, God willing, tomorrow. It may be some. I'm going to post on Rumble tonight. Or tomorrow. This whole thing with the latest LA Fire Department Fire Commissioner meeting, and boy, did some people take a piece of humble pie during that meeting. Incredible. Again, you're not going to find a lot of this coverage anywhere else except for here on Safety Wars on the Safety FM network, because there is a war for your safety, and you have to be involved in fighting that war. You have to be your advocate. And that's what I'm asking you to be, and that's what our point is. You are your advocate, not someone else. For Safety Wars, this is Jim Posel, and we will get back to you tomorrow, God willing.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
see beyond what's real. Embrace the flaws that show and help us feel. A learning culture where we break the seal. In every flaw we find a way to heal. First one is to see beyond what's real. Embrace the flaws that show and help us feel. A learning culture where we break the seal. In every flaw we find a way to heal. And every little step we take will navigate the risks and make sure we're improving as we bake. The seeds of trust that never break. Second principle to guide us through is trust the ones who wear the same old shoe. They know the paths we walked and treasures true, with wisdom found in what we choose.